here we go. The kick in the start of the game started by Gardner Dow, and I'm going to give it a shot right now. Connecticut Huskies throwing up all his hankies from their pockets, waving them in the air for some reason, and Alabama A&M starts up the kick. So right now, Pedro Labito coming up with a quick steal on the right side. He's in A&M territory, kicking on the right side for a breaking glass into Cornolo. Cornolo trying to get away around Toriolo, having some problems sending into middle of Elvis Comrie, but knocked away and kicked back to Cornolo, and the Huskies control. Pedro Labito on the right side. Labito trying to streak around one defender from the Bulldog team. Can't do so. Ball kicked out of bounds. Last touch by the Huskies. And it's going to be a throw-in. Let's check ourselves on that one. The whistle, we're going to push on Connecticut. So we're going to have a direct kick for Alabama A&M. Kicked right to the back of Pedro Labito. Got down Cornolo on the right side of the penalty, but it's kicked away by the Alabama team. That's Iwalumo. And Iwalumo kicks it out of bounds. Huskies will throw it on the far sideline. Carlos throws it into Labito. Labito trying to send it a pass, and it's knocked off the back of a Bulldog over to Carlos. Carlos on the right side, trying to get around Ogie Degby, having some problems doing so. Ogie Degby coming away with the steal, and Alabama A&M controlling it. Ogie Degby sending the ball upfield for a teammate. That's Douglas Bell, and Bell racing down the field, now slowing things up, getting it back to Ogie Degby. It's now stolen by Carlos, right around midfield. Carlos in the middle of the page on Labito. Labito does not expect the pass, and Sinclair comes away with it. Sinclair passing looks like Iwalumo right around the middle of the field, goes controlling the ball, sends it into the Connecticut zone. Going forward is a race between number 4, John Brubacher, and number 18, Wayne Cargill, but it goes out of bounds before either of them can get it. Last touch by the Bulldogs, and the Huskies will have a goal kick with 43 minutes and 17 seconds to go here in the first half.
We're going to see a type of game this afternoon, at least from the early outset. What we've seen so far is going to be a short passing game, and we haven't seen an opponent come in here and play a short passing game in some time.
And we have some problems with the Alabama A&M numbers. They seem to be a little bit small. Steal on the near sideline. Wayne Cargill with the ball. He's a very potent man. Sends a shot in front. Headed away by Charlie Spirit. Headed down by Bill Roy. Roy sends it right to the foot of Elvis Comrie. Comrie gets around Cargill. Pass upfield for Graciano Cornolo. Cornolo tripped on the play by Arnold Manders. And Manders is now being level-manded by the referee. No yellow card, just a warning. And quickly the Huskies send the ball on the play. Pedro Labito sending it off his chest in the Bulldog territory. Slips on the right ground. He says he was pushed. I don't believe that. And Alabama A&M will have the throw, and taking it is Toriolo. Toriolo sending it back to the goalkeeper, Kevin Hunt, and Hunt will start up the Bulldog offense about 120 yards away from the Connecticut goal. This is Okocha. Okocha sending the ball into the Connecticut zone, but no one's there to get it. This is going to be a throw for the Huskies. Tim Maisley with it on the far sideline. Maisley sends it into Elvis Comrie. Comrie trying to get around the Alabama A&M defense, and there's a trip on the players. Douglas Bell is yelling that Comrie tripped them, and the referee finally agreeing with Bell.
Alabama A&M.
Matter of fact, there's a man in the field with number 2 for Alabama A&M that I believe we do not have on our roster. We're going to have to check that out. Maybe Mark can go and check that out for us and find out who that is.
Wearing number 2 on the front, but I believe the number on the back is number 3, but we'll have to check on that.
I would hope so. Well, we'll call him Okocha for now until we hear differently. Okocha sending it back to Hunt, and Hunt, the goalkeeper, again, we'll see what he can do with the ball. Right now, Hunt being confronted by Graziano Cornolo, trying to disturb Hunt, and Hunt sends the ball high in the air, but it doesn't go anywhere. It goes right in front of the Husky bench. A very poor kick for the goalkeeper, and the Huskies want to throw it in the near sideline. I'm wondering if the Bulldogs have ever been used to a crowd this large. That could be the Huskies' advantage. Huskies with the throw, and Cornolo controlling the ball in the near sideline in the corner, kicked out of bounds by Toriolo. And matter of fact, they're going to say Cornolo kicked the last. It's going to be a goal kick for Alabama A&M. So let me correct myself on that one. 41 minutes and 9 seconds remaining here in the first half. No score between the Huskies of Connecticut and the Bulldogs of Alabama A&M. Here's Kevin Hunt, the 6'2 senior out of Oxon Hill, Maryland, one of the only 4 Americans on the team. He sends another poor kick upfield, doesn't even reach the midfield line, and Carlos picks up the ball there. Carlos sends the ball over to Jimmy Lyman. Lyman has the ball stolen by Gordwan Iwalumo, and Iwalumo coming down the field. Pass to Ogie Degby. Ogie Degby down the sideline, looking for Wayne Cargill. Can't get to him. And we do have a correction on it. The number 3 who was listed as Ben Okocha is now number 2. So luckily we got that corrected before any further damage. Right now the ball kicked out of bounds. Last touch by the Huskies, and Okocha will throw the ball in. He throws it right to the head of an Alabama A&M player. Now the ball bouncing out and around. It goes out of bounds. Last touch by Connecticut. And we'll have a throw in for Iwalumo, the 5'9 senior out of Nigeria.
Indirect kick.
Now they're going to call an indirect kick for the Alabama A&M team. Taking it will be Okocha. Okocha sends it out to midfield for Toriolo. Toriolo sends a pass on the right side for Manders. Manders controlling the ball, kicks it into the Connecticut zone for a breaking Schifra. Schifra coming down, trying to get around Lyman. But Lyman comes up with a beautiful steal, sends it over to Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit will start things up for the Huskies. Trip on the play as Lyman passed the ball to McSpirit, coming up to Trippin Mills, Solomon Schifra. And the Huskies will have a direct kick, and they control the ball. Billy Moroney in the Connecticut zone, sending it downfield for in the Alabama A&M zone. Race between Pedro DeBrito and Toriolo. Goes past DeBrito, but DeBrito comes up controlling the ball, steal to Toriolo. Loose ball in front, and Kevin Hunt comes out to make the save as DeBrito had a little break on the left sideline. But no defensive play by Toriolo, one of the backs from Nigeria, who is a freshman, came up and stole the ball. So the Huskies do not get the ball close to a possible score. Now we have a push on the Bulldogs right around the midfield area. The Huskies will have a direct kick. McSpirit quickly sends the ball into play. So really not much action here in the first half. We just realized the Huskies are not going to be outplayed here, even though the Alabama A&M team has a lot of foreigners who seem to be really quick. The Huskies holding their own. Eric Meyer sending it on the right side for Elvis Conley, but the ball is stolen by Okocha, kicked out of bounds. And they're going to call it a corner kick for the Huskies on the far sideline. And taking that one will be Elvis Conley, 38-53. To go here in the first half, the Huskies looking to get the ball quickly and play. Now they're going to slow it up and see if they can set up something to put the ball in the net. Conley with a low right in front, kicked up by Carlos. Carlos knocked out of bounds by, I believe, Kevin Hunt. And we're going to have another corner kick. Let's see what they're going to call it.
And that was played by Douglas Bell right in the corner of the net as he got in the way of Carlos. Carlos between the ball and Carlos and knocked the ball out. But now they're going to set off Carlos, and Alabama will have a goal kick.
So the goal kick will go to Alabama A&M. And I believe taking it will be Douglas Bell. Bell, a senior back from Jamaica. On the year, had 5 goals, 1 assist for 11 points. Now Bell going out towards midfield, and I believe Okocha will take it, and he does so, sending it upfield. And the Alabama A&M team seems to not have very powerful legs as they don't even get the ball to midfield. But then again, the wind is blowing against them, so they are going to have some problems when they kick the ball up in the air. Huskies with a steal, and they're deep in the Bulldog zone. This is Bill Maroney on the right, on the far sideline. Maroney trying to get around Bell, coming in towards the middle for Eric Meyer, but he's run off the ball nicely by James Sinclair, and Sinclair sends it upfield for Solomon Schifra. Schifra controlling the ball, trying to get around John Bubach and making some fancy moves, but not really going anywhere. Schifra still controlling the ball. He looks like he's an actor out there. Sends it back to Okocha. I know Okocha on the left side over for Iwuomo. Iwuomo controlling the ball. Sends it back to Okocha. Again, Okocha gets it into the Connecticut zone where it's headed there by Eric Myron. Myron over to Jimmy Lyman. Lyman the give and go back to Myron. And Myron having some problems getting on Iwuomo. Now the ball on the far sideline. A whistle on the play. I believe the Huskies are going to have a direct kick and I believe a pushing violation on number 13, Godwan Iwuomo.
37-19. We're just on the way. No score. UConn and Alabama.
Huskies controlling the ball right around the middle of the field in the Alabama A&M zone. This is Carlos. Kick on the left side. Pass for Pedro Rabita, but run off the ball by Arnold Manders. And Manders sends the ball up the field for Tim Maisley as Maisley steals the ball for the Connecticut team. Maisley right around midfield. Pass on the right side to Eric Myron. Myron entering the attacking third of the field. Run off the ball by Okocha. And Okocha sends it over the far sideline where Connecticut will have a throw-in at 36:50 of their first half.
Hell, something we haven't seen in a while also is the tight man-to-man checking that Alabama is doing, and the Huskies are going to have to adjust to that in their game plan.
Elvis Conley having some problems controlling the ball on the far sideline. Kicks it out of bounds by mistake, and Okocha, the junior from Nigeria, will have a throw-in. Sending it downfield. 2 Huskies collide, but Charlie McSpirit ends up beating Wayne Cargill to the ball, and he sends it down into the Alabama A&M zone. Ball now loose around. Eric Myron pushing with Iwuomo, and there's going to be a violation called on Myron. Direct kick for the Bulldogs, and they're going to send the ball into play, and I believe it's going to be Iwuomo one more time. Iwuomo scored 1 goal out of the 3 in the 3-0 pasting of the Vermont team. The Catamounts having some problems with this Alabama team. They scored 3 goals in the first half and then took it easy in the second half, going into a defensive shell so they can rest up for the Connecticut team today. Games back-to-back as they did play yesterday. Alabama A&M deep in the Connecticut zone. Pass to the right side for Schifler. Schifler shot wild to the left. And the Huskies are going to have a goal kick, but Alabama A&M for the first time mounted some offensive threat.
And Schiffer didn't seem to put any effort into that kick, but that thing came off his foot with a blaze. And it went to the right of Jimmy Renahan, and I tell you, that was their first offensive threat, and if that's any signs of what's to come, he has got a good boot.
Carlos kicking the ball into the Bulldogs, zone for Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito can't control it, and a throw will be had by Arnold Manders of Alabama A&M. As I was saying before, Vermont played Alabama yesterday, so they had to travel all the way down from Vermont, which is a 3 or 4 hour 3-hour drive, maybe even more, to play Connecticut, who's a nationally ranked team. So they're probably a little bit tired, but we're not going to make any excuses for them. They should be in pretty good shape. Eric Meyer with the ball on the right sideline collides with Schiffer, a whistle on the play. Let's see what they're going to call. They're going to call a foul on Alabama A&M, so the Huskies will have a direct kick about 15 yards outside the penalty area, and looking to take it is either Jimmy Lyman or Charlie McSpirit. Lyman now sets up as McSpirit goes into the Connecticut the zone of the shot on goal by Cornell. They saved by Hunt. As I was talking, Jimmy Lyman sent a beautiful pass into the goal mouth area, headed it down by Cornell, but Hunt was right there to make the save.
Alabama had a good chance right there, Harold, to pull up the defense and maybe catch the Huskies offsides, as they have been caught in the last 3 or 4 games quite a bit. But not the case, and Cornell right on net. A nice save by Hunt.
We have a push on the play as John Brubaker getting the best of Solomon Schiffer, and we're going to have... Matter of fact, let's see what they're going to call. I believe they're going to call an elbow on Schiffer, and he's not too happy about that one. I believe that he believes it's so far not really good refereeing here in the first half, but Connecticut controlling the ball. Pedro Lobito sitting on the left side for Graziano Cornolo, but cleared away nicely by Adolari Torolo. And Adolari had the ball kicked off Pedro Lobito, so it'll be a throw-in for the Alabama A&M team, but the ball is stolen there by Carlos now going at it with Ogie Degby. The ball goes out of bounds, last touch by Ogie Degby, and the Huskies will have a throw-in at 33-47 early in the first half. Carlos getting around one player, that's Ogie Degby, but Ogie Degby pushes Carlos in the process. Direct kick for the Huskies about 5 or 6 yards outside the penalty area on the left side, right around the baseline. I believe they might have called obstruction on that last call, so let's make it an indirect kick for Connecticut. Pedro Lobito now setting up. Huskies all around the goal area. Sending a low liner in front, kicked up by Elvis Comrie, but knocked away. Pedro Lobito now racing for it with Wayne Cargill. Lobito controlling the ball, but Cargill runs him off the ball, sends it downfield for Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit controlling it, getting around one Alabama A&M player, sending it in the middle towards for Jimmy Lyman. Lyman on the right side for breaking Eric Myron. Myron now on the far sideline, trying to enter the attacking third of the field, sending the ball in front for Graciano Cornolo. Goes by both of them. Him and the Alabama A&M player, and Arnold Manders clears the ball downfield. This is Wayne Cargill. Cargill going with a 1-on-4 on the right sideline. Cargill trying to get around John Brubaker right outside the penalty area. Makes the move, comes in the middle, shot on goal off Charlie McSpirit's hip. Set on the right side for Iwalumo. Shot and go. Saved by Jimmy Renahan as Iwalumo was right there to pick up that rebound. But Renahan very early, making a beautiful save, and Connecticut coming back the other way. Billy Maroney for Elvis Comrie. Comrie sending it back for Eric Myron. Myron upfield for Billy Maroney one more time, and Maroney entering the Bulldog side of the field. Maroney on the far sideline looking for someone to pass the ball to, sending it right to the middle circle for Jimmy Lyman. 32-21 to go here in the first half. We're scoreless. Harold Darak along with Mark Boudreau at Gardner Dow Field. This is Carlos breaking in the left side, trying to get around Iwalumo. Carlos sending it to the corner for DeBrito. DeBrito trying to send a pass, but he kicks it right into the hip of Ronald Manders. Manders sends it out of bounds, and the Huskies will have a corner kick.
DeBrito being marked man for man by Manders, Graziano Cornolo being marked man for man by Bondurant, and Elvis Comrie being marked man for man by Douglas Bell.
We haven't heard much from Bondurant today. He scored 8 goals, 1 assist for 17 points on the year. He's one of the 4 players from the USA. Pedro DeBrito's corner kick in the corner, punched out by Hunt. And Hunt sends it all the way down to the right side of the field. Jimmy Lyman will gather it. It'll be Lyman versus Ogie Degby. Ogie Degby wins the battle. And the Alabama A&M team controlling the ball on the far sideline. Stealing the play by Brubaker. Brubaker sends it up to Cornolo. Cornolo trying to pass it over to Jimmy Lyman, but it's kicked away by Alabama A&M and controlled by James Sinclair. Sinclair sends it all the way back for a teammate who kicks it all the way back to Kevin Hunt. And Hunt, the goalie for Alabama A&M, will start things up for the Bulldogs. 31 minutes, 19 seconds to go here in the first half. We are scoreless at Gardner Dow. Ball headed up in the air by Iwalumo. Iwalumo now bounces the ball all the way around, controlled now by Billy Maroney. Maroney on the left side for breaking Elvis Comrie, but he's going to be beaten to the ball by Torello. And Torello sends a pass over to teammate Arnold Manders, and Manders controlling the ball for the Bulldogs. Manders, who has a bandage right around his left knee, so he must be having some problems with that, kicks the ball upfield. Ball now loose around, and Billy Maroney gathers in for the Huskies. Maroney left side over to Elvis Comrie. Comrie back to John Brubaker. Brubaker in the middle for the captain, Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit right side for Carlos. He had a battle with an Alabama A&M player. Ball now loose around, and John Brubaker keeps it in play for the Huskies. Carlos right side for breaking Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit in the penalty area. Shot in front of the goal. Saved by Hunt. It's loose in front and kicked away by Okocha. And Okocha kicks it all the way to Carlos. And Carlos right around the penalty area. Huskies still have the ball in play. play. Ball in front. Ogie Digby steals it. Comes back to Jimmy Lyman. Lyman left side to Billy Mooney. Huskies putting on the pressure. Now the ball cleared up in the air nicely by Douglas Bell. It's going to be settled off the head of Jimmy Lyman, but he can't control it. It's controlled by James Sinclair. Sinclair over to teammate Ogie Digby. Ball stolen by Myron, and the Huskies are getting the better of the play here in the first half as the ball has been mostly played in the Bulldog zone, but the Huskies have not been able to put the ball in the net. Pedro Brito settles it off his chest, trying to get around number 6, Douglas Bell. He now puts a move on Bell, but Bell sticks with the ball and steals it, and he's in the corner for the Bulldog team. Bell passing it out right around the middle for Arnold Manders. Manders sending the ball upfield for a teammate, but John Brubaker intercepts as there's going to be a push now called on Solomon Schiffer. And the Huskies are going to have a direct kick as the crowd really not too happy with the push Schiffer made. Direct kick going to be made by Pedro DeBrito, 29-30. So here in the first half, the Huskies putting on all sorts of pressure around that goal area on Kevin Hunt. Hunt making one beautiful save so far in that last set of plays, and about 2 or 3 beautiful saves on the day. DeBrito, chipper in front, looking for Graciano Cornell, headed away by the defense. Controlled by Jimmy Lyman. Nice bicycle kick to keep the ball in play, but still a steal by James Sinclair. And Alabama A&M controlling the ball. Sinclair upfield for teammate Iwarumo. Iwarumo now controlling the ball. Right side for Arnold Manders. Manders, a junior out of Bermuda, coming down the right sideline, going one-on-one with Pedro DeBrito. Tries to slide the ball by DeBrito, but DeBrito comes up with an easy steal and sends the ball over back to Jimmy Renahan, and Renahan will start things up for the Connecticut team with 28 minutes, 50 seconds to go here in the first half. A scoreless game between the number 3 ranked team in the nation, the Connecticut Huskies, and the number 3 ranked team in the nation 1 year ago, the Bulldogs of Alabama A&M. Alabama A&M with a record of 13-3-1, Connecticut with a record of 15-2, and Alabama A&M, as we might have failed to mention, is coming off a 6-game winning streak, a 7-game winning streak. Their last 6 games have been won by shutouts. So very good goalkeeping by Kevin Hunt on the year. He has 11 shutouts and has only allowed 9 goals. Bulldogs controlling the ball. Iwalumo sending it into the penalty area for the Alabama A&M team, controlled by the Huskies, but now stolen right back by Wayne Cargill. Cargill sending it on the right side for Arnold Manders. Manders all the way out to midfield for Torriello, and the Bulldog offense will try to start up one more time. Torriello on the right sideline. Tim Maisley beating number 14 Tyson Bondurant to the ball. And the ball goes out of bounds as Maisley did get a hand on it, but it's going to be last touch by Alabama A&M, so it'll be a throw-in for the Huskies, and Connecticut coming down the other way. This is Carlos in the Bulldog zone, trying to send it up for number 9, Graciano Cornell. Steal in the play by James Sinclair. Ball loose in front, and Sinclair fighting for it with the Husky. A handball violation should have been called, but not seen by the referee, and the ball controlled by Ogie Digby of the Alabama A&M team. Ogie Digby coming down the field. Steal on the play by Connecticut as the Huskies have the better of the ball control here in the first half. They've had a lot better shots on goal than the Alabama A&M team, but neither team has yet to score here in the first half.
Husky substitutions. Jim Dorsino getting set to check in. He'll be the first Husky substitute when the horn blows.
And also getting set to check in is number 5 for Alabama A&M. We do not have the name on our roster, so another person we're going to have to check on that one also. Here's Billy Mooney right around the middle of the field trying to get around James Sinclair. Can't do so. Sinclair steals the ball, gets it over to Cargill, and Cargill over to teammate Tyson Bondurant, and the Alabama A&M team controlling the ball. Ogie Digby has the ball stolen around midfield by Eric Myron, pushes Myron, and finally they get a whistle, and the Huskies will have the direct kick. So a lot more fouls so far in the first half by Alabama A&M. They seem to be playing a little bit more physical of a ball game. Pedro DeBrito controlling on the left side. DeBrito over to Graciano Cornell. Cornell deep in the Bulldog territory, sending a centering pass in front, but it's kicked up in the air by Douglas Bell and controlled by Wayne Cargill, and the Bulldogs bring the ball back the other way. The Bulldogs in red. Arnold Manders controlling it, sending a pass downfield. No one's there to collect it. The ball goes out of bounds. A last touch by, I believe, Solomon Schiffer, who tried to make a valiant effort to save the ball, but the Huskies with a throw it on the near sideline. Bill Roy taking the ball, sending it downfield. No one's wide open. James Sinclair comes up with it, sending a pass to teammate Solomon Schiffer. Schiffer gets the ball knocked away by Brubaker, controlled by Connecticut, and Bill Roy has it, sending it back to Carlos in the Connecticut zone. 25 minutes, 53 seconds. We have a number 5. We do not have his name, and I believe we went to check on it, and the official scorer doesn't have his name. What's the story on that, Mark?
Well, we'll have it in just a second, Harold, as the official score. Nobody has the name, so we are waiting on it, and as soon as we have it, we'll let you know.
Okay. Charlie McSpirit controlling the ball, sending it downfield for Pedro Lebrito. Lebrito listed as number 23 in our roster, so we will just change that. That is another mouthful of a word. Huskies controlling the ball, sending it right in front of the penalty area. Eric Meyer racing for the ball with a Bulldog player. Meyer gets tripped right outside the penalty area. The Huskies will direct kick. We're about 10 yards outside. Quickly, Meyer sends the ball to play. Jimmy Lyman sends a kick in front for Elvis Connery. Connery right around the penalty area, trying to get around one Bulldog. Throwing pass, and he goes by everybody. Shot by Lebrito wide to the right. So a lot of action, but a goal kick will be had by the Alabama A&M team as Coach Joe Roney flying that clipboard down the ground in disgust.
Good call, Harold. Derek. Jim Dorsanio checks in. Brian Stevenson, Eric Myron, and Graziano Cornello will checking out for the Alabama A&M squad is number 14, Tyson Bondurant. Checking in, Jay Waldy Emmanuel. And if you want to say it's just GW, easier for you, Harold, GW Emmanuel, number 5, checks in for Alabama A&M.
Emmanuel, a junior out of Ethiopia, on the year scored 5 goals, 5 assists for 15 points. A very potent team, even on the bench for the Bulldogs.
24-19, the Huskies and A&M have played 21 minutes of soccer. We have no score.
Right now, Alabama controlling the ball. This is James St. Clair. St. Clair sending a pass over to teammate Iwalumo. Iwalumo has the ball stripped from him by Carlos. Carlos in Connecticut coming back the other way. Carlos looking for Elvis Connery in the penalty zone, but is headed away by Torriello. A whistle right around midfield, and we're going to have an offsides violation on Alabama A&M, and we're going to have an indirect kick for Connecticut right around midfield. Now the referee whistling the play dead as Jimmy Lyman really tried to send the ball quickly to play, but the referee wants to call that one all over. The Huskies, who have lately been trying to send every ball in the play as fast as possible, get this one whistled dead as he's trying to slow down the pace of the game. Setting up the ball now is Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit chips one downfield for Mr. Instant Offense, Jim Dorsanio. Dorsanio heading it in front of the goal, but Kevin Hunt making a very easy save as Hunt will start things up for the Bulldog team.
How many people are here, Harold? Come on.
Okay, I'm going to say the attendance will be 4,800. That's going to be my official guess.
I'm going to go with 5-7.
5-7. Okay, you're going to go low up there. This is Solomon Schiffler controlling the ball for Alabama A&M right in front for Ogie Digby. Ogie Digby controlling the ball, trying to get the ball back to Schiffler, but it's stolen by Connery, and the Huskies controlling the ball. Connery, nice pass on the left side to Bubacker. It was off his head, not controlled by anybody. Now Connery going at it with number 15, James Sinclair, having a few words, and the referee quickly breaking that up. We might have a yellow card if that persists, as Connery and Sinclair really collided on that play, but quickly the referee stepped in between the two. It was going to be a direct kick for Alabama A&M as the foul was called on Elvis. So here's this kick by Iwalumo right on the middle of the field, where it's thrown off the chest of Jim Dorsanio. Dorsanio on the right side over to Bill Maroney. Maroney to Elvis Connery. Connery trying to give and go back to Maroney, but Dorsanio intercedes, kicking a nice back heel up the field, but there's no Husky there to get the ball, and Douglas Bell controls it for the Bulldogs. Bell on the left side for number 2, Ben Okocha. Okocha sending a pass to teammate Godwan Iwalumo, and Iwalumo dribbling the ball around the Husky defense, but really not going anywhere with it. Finally, passing up to teammate Ogie Digby. Ogie Digby dribbling the ball down around the field, passed in toward the middle to Iwalumo. Iwalumo shot on goal, going wide to the right. Not out of play yet, is racing for it is Solomon Schiffler, and Schiffler has it on the corner. Schiffler one-on-one with John Bubacker as he's trying to get around Bubacker, gets in the penalty area. He takes a centering pass in front, looking for the headers. Alabama A&M save right as it was headed down by Iwalumo, I believe, and Rennie was right there, almost out of the play, but he dove for it and made it, and we were still scoreless.
And some great defensive work by Jimmy Lyman. When Jimmy Renahan went down with the save, he had it in his breadbasket. Wayne Cargill came over and tried to kick it right out of his arms, which illegal, it's a questionable call. Nonetheless, Jimmy Lyman came right over and knocked that man out of the play, and it was a very smart defensive play by Jim Lyman.
Ball was out of bounds, last touch by the Bulldogs. Connecticut with a throw-in. Taking it is John Bubacker. Bubacker sends it to the Alabama zone. No Husky there to gather it up. And Torriello dribbling it downfield for the Alabama team. Torriello, a pass over to Iwalumo. Iwalumo going downfield for a Schiffler. Shot knocked away by Linehan as Schiffler outran the Connecticut defense. And he almost had a wide open shot on goal. Nice save by Linehan as he punched it over the goal line. Corner kick for the Bulldog team.
3 Huskies check into the lineup. Graziano Cornello, number 9. Eric Myron, number 10. And Jimmy Ed Lynch, number 13, checking out John Bubacker, Elvis Connery, and I believe Carlos.
Taking the corner kick will be Godwan Iwalumo. The senior out of Nigeria. 4 goals, 6 assists for 14 points on the year. Alabama A&M starting to line up in the penalty area and around the goal mouth and the goal area. And here is the corner kick. And it's set up in front. Graciano Cordola gets a foot on it. It's now bouncing around loosely. Eric Meyer with the header, and he gets around number 13, Iwalumo. A hold called on Iwalumo, and Connecticut will have a direct kick deep in their own zone.
And the tide of this game, at least for the last few minutes, has turned, and it's more Alabama A&M controlling, and they've showed it on the offense.
This is Jimmy Renahan trying to outlet the ball via his arm. Now he rolls the ball around and throws it on the left sideline for Brian Stevenson. Stevenson throwing it off his leg, running upfield, trying to get it to Cornolo, but he out punches the ball over Cornolo, and it goes over the goal, over the touchline, and the throw will be had by Arnold Manders. Manders looking to take the throw and gets it into the Connecticut zone off the head of James Sinclair. Sinclair can't control the ball. Eddie Lynch comes up. Lynch is tripped from the behind by Solomon Schifra, and there'll be a direct kick for the Connecticut Huskies with 19 minutes and 33 seconds to go here in the first half. Charlie McSpear controlling the direct kick, sending a pass downfield. A steal in the play by Iwalumo, and Iwalumo coming down the field. Pass the left side to Cargill. Cargill controlling the ball for the Bulldogs. He's dribbling around, trying to get around Tim Mosley, chipping it into the area. No Bulldog there to collect the ball, and Brian Stevenson comes up and takes it back the other way. Stevenson pass on the sideline for Billy Maroney. Maroney saving it before it goes over the touchline, gets around Sinclair, gets it over to Stevenson. Stevenson in the middle for Jimmy Lyman. Lyman makes a nice move to get around Ogie Digby and passes on the right side over to Tim Mosley. Mosley, a beautiful chipper downfield for Jim Dorsano. He's racing with Douglas Bell. Bell wins the race. The ball goes out of bounds. Let's see his last touch by. It is last touch by Bell, and the Huskies will have a throw in, and taking it will be Jim Dorsano. Dorsano looking downfield, gets it to DeBrito. DeBrito guarded man-to-man by Okocha, and Okocha guarding DeBrito goes with it along the goal line. And Okocha kicks it out of bounds by mistake, and so the Huskies will have a corner kick on the far sideline, and DeBrito will take it. 18:29 to go. The Huskies looking for a big scoring opportunity. We are scoreless here at Gardner Dow. The Huskies, I believe, with a big streak intact, and at least a home field streak. Here's DeBrito sending centering pass in front, headed away by James Sinclair, and it looks like it's going for the sidelines, and the Huskies will have a throw in. Connecticut has unbeaten in 33 regular season games. The ball loose in front, cleared away nicely by Iwalumo, all the way downfield. The race between Mosley and number 9, Schifra. Mosley wins the race, but he can't beat the ball before it goes out of bounds, and it's going to be a throw-in for Solomon Schifra. Schifra gets the ball back from teammate Ogie Digby, passes it in the middle for number 13, Iwalumo. Iwalumo passes it in the middle for Ogie Digby. Ogie Digby now dribbling the ball back and forth. The Husky almost came up and stole the ball, but it's loose in front now, controlled by Myron, kicked away by Iwalumo over the line, and the Huskies will have a goal kick with 17 minutes and 35 seconds remaining here in the first half. Harold Darak along with Mark Boudreau from Gardner Dow Field. A packed crowd on here. It's still homecoming weekend for the University of Connecticut. Unfortunately, the football team losing yesterday 29-24. Huskies here tied with the number 3 ranked team in the nation 1 year ago, the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. And Alabama A&M controlling it. This is James Sinclair. Sinclair racing towards the middle of the field, takes a shot on goal, but he goes over the crossbar. And the Huskies win a goal kick. And it looks like either McSpirit or Renahan will be taking this one.
Checking back in the Husky lineup, number 11, Elvis Comrie, number 6, Carlos taking the puff will be number 8, Billy Maroney, and Pedro DeVito taking take 5.
We'd like to thank Tom Bowen back in the studio for engineering this game here on a very cold Sunday afternoon. It's cloudy, overcast, and it's the temperature just not too nice so far. But the Huskies still in this game. It's tied up 0-0. As their offense has not really been awake as it had been the last 3 games. That they've controlled the ball more than Alabama A&M so far. And right now they have a throw-in right in front of the Bulldog bench. Taking it, Tim Mosley. Mosley gets it back to Stevenson. Stevenson give and go to Mosley. And Mosley misplays the ball, kicks it out of bounds by mistake. And a throw-in made by James Sinclair for the Bulldogs. Sinclair sending it into play for Emmanuel. Emmanuel right on the middle of the field, passing back to Douglas Bell. And Bell on the left side for Okocha. Okocha sending the ball into the Connecticut zone, where it's kicked up in the air by Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit now racing for it before it goes over the sideline. Dorsano wins the race. He kicks it directly up in the air, but it goes over the sideline. And a throw-in for the Bulldogs. This is Wayne Cargill, the leading scorer for the Bulldogs, controlling the ball, but easily taken away by Lyman. Lyman sending it back to Charlie McSpirit, and McSpirit bring the ball downfield for number 9, Graciano Cornolo. Cornolo on the left side for Wisconsin. Wisconsin's going to have to race Allen Manders to the ball. Neither of them can win the race. It goes out of bounds in front of the Connecticut bench, and it'll be a throw-in for the Bulldogs. Toriolo controls the throw-in. as it was made by Manders. Torello trying to get around Elvis Comrie, chips the ball into the middle, and going after it, I believe, is Iwalumo. Iwalumo passing back to Sinclair. Sinclair downfield for a teammate. Racing for it is Ogie Degby, but coming up with it is Charlie McSpirit, and Connecticut controlling the ball. McSpirit on the right side, over for Dorsanio. Dorsanio back to McSpirit. McSpirit chipping it upfield off the chest of Graciano Cornolo, and Cornolo kicks it over to Jimmy Lyman, who is the backfield genius from Storrs, Connecticut, and he gets tripped on the play, and Jimmy Lyman will have the direct kick for Connecticut, tripped by Nathaniel Ogie Degby, the freshman of Nigeria. Now, Lyman leaves, and Charlie McSpirit will take the direct kick. McSpirit sending it downfield for Tim Maisley. Nice break on the field. Maisley, beautiful header over to Graciano Cornolo. Cornolo, man-to-man with Douglas Bell, trying to get around Bell. Can't do so. Still controlling the ball. Whistle on the play, and I believe a push by Bell. And the Huskies will have a throw-in about 3 or 4 yards outside the penalty area. Make that a direct kick. Let me check myself. That was a foul. The ball directly out of bounds. So it'll be a direct kick for the Huskies. And taking it is McSpirit. McSpirit chipping in front, headed it by Graciano Cornolo. Cornolo yelling for a push from the behind, but Alabama A&M comes up with the ball. Kick right to Eddie Lynch. Lynch controls it, trying to get it down to Dorsanio. Headed by Elvis Comrie to Dorsanio, but he can't control it. It's cleared by Okocha. Okocha downfield for Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit chips it over to Carlos, who slides the pass to the right side to Graciano Cornolo. Cornolo racing with it with Douglas Bell, and Bell wins the race, kicks it out of bounds, and Connecticut will have a throw-in on the far sideline. 14:06 to go here in the first half. Harold Ork along with Mark Boudreau. We are tied. Alabama A&M 0, Connecticut 0. And Connecticut will have a throw-in on the far sideline. And it's going to be taken by Carlos. John Brubaker getting set to re-enter the game. Carlos takes a kick, kicks it right into the middle of the road. Okocha clearing the ball downfield. It's controlled by Schiffer. Schiffer sending it back to Ogie Degby, but the Huskies come up with a steal, and this is Cornolo. Cornolo being tripped right near the penalty area. No call. Carlos chipping way in front. Headed away by Arnold Manders, and racing for it is Stevenson along with another player that goes out of bounds, and the Huskies will have a throw-in on the near sideline. This is Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit trying to get around Alabama A&M player. Over to Stevenson. Stevenson chips it in front, and it goes over everything. A whistle on the play, and let's see what they're going to call. I believe the Huskies are going to be called for a foul, and Charlie McSpirit is arguing with it. Offsides is the call. And McSpirit arguing, but to no avail. So the indirect kick for the Alabama team with 13:06 to go here in the first half.
Getting set to check in will be John Brubaker, number four, and he'll be in at the next horn.
Connecticut controlling the ball. Tim Maisley with the header downfield for Jim Dorsanio. They're still in the Bulldogs zone. Dorsanio trying to get around Manders on the left sideline. Manders, a nice sliding tackle, kicks the ball out of bounds. The Huskies will have the throw-in, this time taken by Stevenson.
Throw-in for number 18.
This game has been a fairly fast-paced game as the clock does not stop for much. Stevenson gets it in for Elvis Comrie, and Comrie trying to get around Arnold Manders, kicks the ball out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick for Alabama A&M, and the substitution is made. Brubaker comes in. Tim Maisley goes out. Alabama A&M, who have not brought up many people on this road trip, might be getting tired of it, especially deep in the second half. If the Huskies can keep sending in players fresh off the bench, we'll see if it takes its toll on the Bulldogs late in the game. Right now, getting set to take that goal kick is Arnold Manders, a junior out of Bermuda. Manders this year has 0 goals, 0 assists for 0 points. Sends it right to the chest of Dorsanio. Dorsanio kicks the ball and he gets right to the foot of Torello. Torello deep downfield for a breaking Schiffer. But Charlie McSpirit, Schiffer going at it. McSpirit comes away with a beautiful steal. McSpirit downfield for Eric Myron. Myron over for Elvis Comrie. Comrie going man-to-man with Arnold Manders. No call on a push violation from behind. And Ogie Degby comes up with the ball. Ogie Degby, a nice sliding tackle away from him by Eddie Lynch. And the Huskies control the ball. Ogie Degby getting called for a tripping violation. And Connecticut with a direct kick with 11 minutes and 38 seconds to go here in the first half. At halftime, we will go back to the studio for any first-period scores in the National Football League. We have a Ole Miss on slate as Tom Ball will take you through that one. Here's a break on the sideline. Wayne Cardrope and Jimmy Wayne coming out of the goal. And moves with the ball in front of Schiffer. And clipped away by Brian Stevenson. A beautiful Husky defensive play. Ball still in front as Okocha keeps it in play. Now a race on the left sideline by Jimmy Lyman and Okocha whistle. And I believe one player's down, and it's going to be a pushing call on Lyman. But Lyman came out to make the play. A beautiful play by Stevenson to clear the ball.
And we're going to have a direct kick about 20 yards outside the Husky goal.
And taking it will be Iwalumo. A beautiful opportunity for Alabama A&M to get on the board with less than 11 minutes to go here in the first half. Here's the action. Iwalumo, a nice lob on front, looking for the headers. Number 9, Schiffer, and it goes wide to the left. And it's going to be Husky goal kick as we have a couple substitutes.
Maroney checks in, as does Pedro DeBrito. Held on that last play. A beautiful save by Jimmy Rennie who came out, but he was spun around on the play, and he didn't know where the ball was for 2 or 3 seconds. And luckily, a very alert Brian Stevenson kicked the ball and cleared it out and gave him time to get back in the net. And so the Huskies survived that onslaught by A&M, and they have a goal kick.
And Jimmy Ryan takes a goal kick right around the middle of the field, controlled by Graciano Cornola. Cornola slides on the left side for Carlos. Carlos pushes a pass up the field for Pedro DeBrito, but it's intercepted by Toriolo, and Alabama A&M coming back the other way. This is Iwalumo coming downfield between a couple Huskies, still controlling the ball, pass to the right side for breaking Sinclair. Sinclair on the right sideline, shipping him one in front, cleared away by McSpirit. Right back to the full Sinclair. Sinclair still on the right sideline, trying to send him a pass, and he does so again. It's headed away this time by Eric Myron, racing for the ball is Billy Mooney will come up with the control of the ball. Less than 10 minutes to go. A steal on the play, but I believe a pushing violation on Manders. And it will be a Husky direct kick as the crowd really not too happy with that push by the Alabama player.
One thing we've been pointing out in the last 3 or 4 games is the troubles the Huskies have had all season long with the transition game. Today it doesn't seem to be the case. The short passing game has allowed the Husky defense to make the transition very well.
Carlos on the left side for breaking Elvis Comrie, and is almost intercepted there by Wayne Cargill, but Comrie still has it, trying to get around Cargill, but a trip on the play. Let's check it. That's Toriolo. So the Huskies will have the ball, and Carlos takes a centering pass for Graciano Cornola, but it's intercepted by Emmanuel. Now bouncing around loose in front, Iwalumo takes control of it, sending it downfield for Arnold Manders. Manders can't beat the ball before it goes on the sideline. The Huskies are going to throw it, and quickly sending into play is Carlos. Carlos over to Elvis Comrie. Loose on the play, but really... it looked to be a loose on the play, but I guess there was none. And the ball still controlled by Connecticut. And this is Jimmy Lyman on the far sideline. Lyman chipping the ball downfield for Pedro DeBrito. But coming in between those two is Douglas Bell. And Bell sending it up for Ogie Digby. And Ogie Digby kicks the ball out of bounds by mistake. The Huskies will throw it on the far sideline. Eric Myron over to Graciano Cornola. Cornola trying to get around Iwalumo. Sends it back to Myron. Myron centering pass in front for Eddie Lynch. Lynch heads it up in the air for Carlos. But Lynch gets the ball faster than Carlos does. And he has the ball on the left sideline. Lynch trying to get into the penalty area, but cleared away from the ball is Arnold Manders. Manders trying to send the ball downfield, kicked off the foot of Carlos, and throwing for Alabama A&M.
Timmy Mosley waiting to check in for the Huskies in the defensive backfield. 8:19 left here in the first half. Here on Darak along with Mark Boudreau, and we're at a scoreless soccer game.
Ball kicked out of bounds by Ogie Digby. It was a beautiful play by John Brubaker to kick it off his leg. Huskies will throw it right in front of the Connecticut bench. This is Elvis Comrie. Comrie sending it back to Brubaker. Brubaker looking in the middle for a Husky, and he gets it over to Eric Myron. Myron right outside the attacking third of the field, but it sends it on the right side over for Charlie Spirit, who lobs one in front for a Husky. No one's there to make the play. It's kicked away by Wayne Cargill, controlled by DeBrito. DeBrito sending it out to Carlos at the point of the penalty area. Carlos sends a chip right for the area. Nice save by Kevin Hunt. Charlie McSpirit had a notion on the far sideline to come in and head that ball, but quickly coming back the other way, it's Alabama A&M. Leading the streak is number 2, Bill Kocho. Kocho downfield for Solomon Schiffer. Schiffer gets it back to number 18, Wayne Cargill. Cargill on the left side, entering the penalty area, gets around Lyman. Cargill pass in front, and it's kicked away by McSpirit. Shot and goal, and it goes in! A goal by number 15, James Sinclair. And Alabama A&M has taken the lead 1-0 here in the first half, as the Huskies did not get back fast enough on the defense. It's Alabama A&M 1, Connecticut 0. With 7 minutes and 22 seconds to go here in the first half. We'll have the official scoring in a few seconds. It's going to be James Sinclair credited with that goal, his second goal of the season. We're waiting for the assist. Official time is 37:38. And now the crowd starting to cheer on. This is the crowd of old.
First goal. Scored by number 15, James Sinclair. Assisted by number 18, Wayne Cargill.
Cargill comes up with the assist for him. It's his 4th assist of the season. Sinclair with his second goal of the year. And quickly Alabama A&M coming back the other way. Clear on the play by Jean McSpirit. Connecticut controlling. This is Billy Maroney. 7 minutes, 18 seconds to go in the first half. Connecticut is now down by 1 goal. And with the goalkeeping of Kevin Hunt in the last 6 games, the Huskies are going to have to start doing something, because Hunt is not allowed a goal in the last 6 games. Even though Connecticut offense has been going well as of late, they haven't done anything here in the first half, and they're going to have the wind in their faces in the second half. Alabama A&M controlling the ball. This is Wayne Cargill. Cargill passing the left side over for Iwalumo. Iwalumo breaking down the sideline, trying to get around Madison. One Huskies down on the ground. It's Carlos, but Iwalumo still controlling it. Sending a centering pass in front off the head of Eric Myron. Myron racing for the ball, and he controls it and sends it downfield for Elvis Comrie. Comrie collides with Arnold Manders. I believe it's going to be an obstruction call. They're going to stop the clock as the referee wants to talk to Manders.
And Carlos is down on the ground holding his head, and Pedro is now going after number 9, Solomon Schiffer, who apparently was involved in the Carlos play. And now Schiffer is saying it wasn't me, and now Jimmy Reddingham comes out and has a word with him. And we have some angry players on both sides of the field, but more dressed in white than dressed in red. The official clock is stopped at 6:38, and the score
to go here in the first half, and McSpirit sends the ball to play.
This could fire the Huskies up, Harold.
And we'll see what's going to happen. Charlie McSpirit trying to chip the ball around Tyson Bondurant. Can't do so. McSpirit now gets it downfield looking for Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito coming up with the ball. DeBrito over to Brian Stevenson. Stevenson trying to get around James Sinclair. Wilson, a handball violation on Stevenson. And Alabama A&M will have the direct kick. Okocha coming up with the ball. Coach on the left sideline for Wayne Cargill. Cargill with the first assist of the game on the goal by Sinclair. Huskies coming up with a sliding tackle. The ball goes out of bounds, and they'll be throwing for Okocha. Okocha on the far sideline going for Iwalumo, and Eric Myron coming up to push Iwalumo, and a little direct kick by Alabama A&M. Clock running down, 5:55 to go here into the first half. This is number 13, Godwan Iwalumo, the senior from Nigeria, sending the direct kick in the middle of the area. It's trying to be headed by Bondurant. A shot on goal by Sinclair, but the ball is bouncing around loosely. And coming up with it is number 4, John Bubacker. Bubacker up the field for Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito racing man-to-man with Sinclair, sitting in the middle, looking for a Billy Maloney. Maloney not open. He's covered by Emmanuel. Emmanuel comes up with the ball as Alabama A&M now kicking the ball back and forth in their own zone, trying to start up their offense. Manders sending the ball downfield for James Sinclair, being run off the ball by Stevenson, and Connecticut controlling. 5:16 to go here in the first half. Huskies down by 1. Jimmy Renahan gets the ball back from Stevenson, now bouncing the ball around, starting up the Connecticut, as he rolls the ball on the left sideline over for Eddie Lynch, and Lynch now dribbling the ball downfield. Lynch slides the pass over for Brian Stevenson. Stevenson upfield for Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito now in the Alabama zone, gets tripped up on the play, but no call as Arnold Manders comes up with a pretty nice sliding tackle, and the ball goes all over to Emmanuel for the Bulldog team. Emmanuel sending it back to Douglas Bell. Bell passing it back and forth with another teammate, now controlling the ball, trying to get around Elvis Comrie, slows it up, starts it up, and sends it downfield, but Tim Maisley intercepts the ball and brings it back for the Connecticut Huskies. Maisley gets it over to Elvis Comrie. Connecticut with a break, but not much offense on the break, as most of the players are settling back, seeming to be tired. This is Stevenson with the ball on the left side. Stevenson slides the ball for Billy Maloney. Maloney has on the left sideline, trying to get around a few players. Stevenson tripped up, no call. Now ball going into the middle. No Husky there to gather it up, and it's cleared away by Manders. So the Husky offense is breaking down, and Cargill comes up with the ball on the right sideline. Cargill one-on-one with Tim Maisley. If he gets around him, he might have a clear shot on goal. Chipping the ball on the right sideline, but an offside violation being called. I believe number 9, Solomon Schiffer. So 4 minutes exactly to go here in the first half of play. It's Alabama A&M 1, Connecticut 0, as the Huskies really dominated early in the first half, but Alabama A&M coming back and putting the ball in the net as the Huskies could not get back fast enough on the transition. Sinclair, second goal of the season from Cargill at the 37-38 mark of the first period, and that's where we stand, 1-0 so far. This Connecticut controlling the ball. Left sideline, Eddie Lynch controlling it, gets over the midfield line. Now he does this. A nice steal by Tyson Bondurant, and they're going to have a break for Alabama A&M. Tyson Bondurant sliding the pass over to Schiffer. Schiffer on the right sideline, one-on-one with John Bubacker. He's right outside the penalty area, slows it up, now waiting for a couple of teammates to come back, and he chips the ball over for number 13, Iwalumo. Giving goal, whistle on the play, offside, Alabama A&M. So that was another close play for Alabama A&M. The Huskies had to hustle back on defenses. Eddie Lynch had the ball stolen nicely by Bondurant, and the ball came right back to Alabama A&M, but they could not put their second goal of the game in the net.
And Harold, we just saw a very vivid display of that short passing game that Alabama A&M possesses and uses so well. And I tell you, that's where the Huskies are going to have a hard time when they're in close and they have that three-man triangle. Alabama A&M has that sharp passing game.
Coming into the game is Tommy Thompson on that last whistle. Connecticut controlling the ball. Thompson sending upfield for Elvis Comrie. Kicked off the ball by Arnold Manders. The Huskies will have to throw in it from their own bench. 2:40 to go here in the first half. Comrie throws the ball in for Bill Maloney. Maloney racing for it with number 5, Emmanuel, and he wins the race, but he happens to kick the ball out of bounds in doing so, and the throw will be had by the Bulldogs. Controlled momentarily by Schiffer. Huskies come up with the steal as Eddie Lynch just strips him of the ball. Lynch sending it back to Charlie McSpirit. Connecticut coming back the other way. McSpirit trying to get the ball downfield for Pedro Librito, headed away by Okocha, and coming back with it is number 5, Emmanuel. Emmanuel sending it downfield for teammate Schiffer. Schiffer dribbling the ball around a few Husky players, gets it back to Okocha, and Okocha sends it into the Connecticut zone for Gabriel Walde Emmanuel. Emmanuel controlling the ball, sending it downfield, but Tim Maisley intercepts the ball. Maisley over to DeBrito. DeBrito back to Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit trip momentarily, and there's going to be a whistle on the call. Sinclair with the trip. The senior from Jamaica, who is the game captain, and there's 1 minute and 49 seconds to go in this first half. The Huskies trying to tie this game up and going to halftime with a tied score. They are down right now by 1 goal, 1-0. Charlie McSpirit sending it to the left side. Steal by Wayne Cargill. Cargill back to Tyson Bondroy. The Bondroy will stop. He playing. Conley with a steal. He was tripped by Arnold Manders, and I believe we're going to have a yellow card on Manders, and yes, we are. It was an intentional trip.
And Harold, there wasn't a trip with the foot. It was more or less a trip with the arm. And now Manders says, okay, it was me. And it was very obvious, but I think he knew what he had to do. Elvis would have had a break there, and maybe it was a smart play. But taking the yellow card, you'll have to watch it for the rest of this soccer game. 2 yellows, and you're gone.
1:30 exactly to go in this game. Charlie McSpirit. He's coming in towards the middle of steal by Ben Okocha. Thompson still trying to get the ball, but Okocha successfully gets the ball away from him, and he passes it downfield for Iwalumo. Iwalumo sending it downfield. Only 36 seconds to go here in the first half. Alabama controlling the ball, trying to put a second goal on the board. Emmanuel now in the middle, over forward to teammate Tyson Bondurant. Bondurant over back to Emmanuel, and Emmanuel controlling the ball right at the midfield line. Pass to the right side, steal by Pedro DeBrito. 20 seconds to go here in the first half. DeBrito looking to pass upfield for a teammate. No one is open. DeBrito comes into the Bulldogs zone by himself. DeBrito left side over to Eric Myron. Myron's coming out into the middle now, stealing the play by Torriero. 6 seconds to go here in the first half. Ball goes back to Hunt, and he will hold the ball for the rest of the to Conley right outside the area, centering pass for DeBrito, and DeBrito's not there, but Myron races over to get the ball. Myron stripped of the ball by Manders. Manders now sends the ball back right to the foot of DeBrito. DeBrito goes back to Myron, and Myron has the ball go out of bounds on the end touchline, and the Huskies will have a corner. Taking the corner for the Huskies will be Pedro DeBrito. 1 minute, 7 seconds left in regulation. DeBrito in the far corner has a slow pass into the area. He sends a centering pass. It's loose in front, pitched away by Hunt. Comes down to the foot of Lyman. Lyman leaves it from McSpirit. He's 20 yards out. Shot on that. Bounds and flips. Conley with a shot. It goes right by the net. Conley's going to see that one in his sleep. He had it left-footed, and he just went wide to the left. Billy Maloney was right there with Conley, and he left it for Conley because Conley had a better angle. But Conley got it off his instep, and the ball spun by to the right of the net. And I tell you, Golden Hunt got lucky that Elvis Conley is holding his head, and he has good reason to. We have 27 seconds left in this soccer game, and Elvis Conley looks like, he just saw a ghost. And we're going to have a goal kick taken by goal Kevin Hunt. Now, Hunt calls back Manners as Hankinson was Hunt in the goal.
For Alabama A&M, number 7.
And we're just going to let this clock run out here. That's right. We're taking the time and taking this goal kick.
7.
And that'll probably be it for the Husky scoring attempt as we have 4, 3, 2, 1. And that'll do it in regulation. We'll go to 2 10-minute overtime. So with the score, UConn 1, Alabama A&M 1. We'll be back with the overtime after this. With Harold Darak and Robin Tug, statistician. I got it right, huh? UConn soccer action here on WHUS is made possible in part from the following local establishments: Subway footlong sandwiches, Holiday Spirits, University Pizza, Nice Chow Incorporated, the Family Fashion Center, South Windsor Dairy Queen, Ted's Restaurant, Cheese and Things, and the UConn Friends of Soccer. The operation of WHUS is subsidized by the undergraduate student government of the University of Connecticut. Harold, we've got 2 overtimes. We haven't seen this in quite some time. And I tell you, 6,600 on hand are not going to change their seats, as this has been one heck of a soccer game. It all started in the first half when when James Sinclair has scored his second goal of the season on a pass from Cargill, who got his fourth assist, time to go 37-38 at halftime. It was Alabama A&M 1, Connecticut 0, but the Huskies came back when it seemed like nothing was going to go well. Conley, his 11th goal of the season on a header from Jimmy Lyman at the 29-19 mark, and that is where we stand. It's 1-1 here in WHUS Storrs, Connecticut. The unofficial statistics, shots on goal, Connecticut 11 and Alabama A&M 11. At the halftime, it was 7-3 in favor of Alabama A&M. Corner kicks, it's 4 for Connecticut and 4 for Alabama A&M. Goalie saves, 5 for Connecticut, 8 for Alabama A&M, and fouls 14 for the University of Connecticut Huskies and 28 for Alabama A&M. So it's almost tied up in shots on goal, tied up in corner kicks, tied up in score, and we're here for 2 10-minute overtimes. And this is probably one of the most exciting games of the year for the Connecticut Huskies in front of 6,600 fans on homecoming day weekend.
And Harold, as I failed to mention before, we'd like to thank our honorary statistician today, Christina Denner, was so grateful to come out on a very cool afternoon and spend the afternoon with us to keep those vital statistics for us, so we thank her for coming out. And the Husky dog is over on the far side of the field, and he has really had something to cheer about in the second half. The Huskies seem to have problems with that short passing game of the Alabama A&M team, and then when we got to the last 10 minutes of soccer when it was tied at 1-1, it seemed like just kick and run soccer, and I'm sure that Coach Maroney will tell the Huskies to settle it down, play your type of game, and the Huskies had the better part of the second half, so hopefully they'll keep that going, and they'll come up with a big goal, and they'll win the soccer game.
Another thing they're going to worry about, or they're going to think about, they have substituted a lot more than Alabama A&M has in the contest. And they should be a little more fresher than the Alabama A&M Bulldogs team is. They didn't bring in that many substitutes. Matter of fact, at the end, their leading scorer, Wayne Cargill, was sitting on the bench. He's a freshman who has 16 goals and 4 assists now for 36 points. And he was sitting on the bench in the waning moments, so I don't know if he's injured or whatever. But the ball is standing right at midfield. Everyone's standing in their seats. It's a very, very cold day now. It's supposed to be up in the 60s, but the sun is not out. It's cloudy overcast. The wind is a little bit chilly. We have a very cold game. It's getting darker very fast. There are 10 minutes to go in overtime number 1. It's 1-1, and taking us throughout the first overtime is Mark Boudreau.
And as a Yogiism would say, it's getting late early here at the soccer game. Previous losses by Alabama A&M, I'm not insinuating or hoping or whatever that they're going to lose this one. It's 1-1, and it goes as it will go in the next 20 minutes of soccer. St. Louis, they lost to St. Louis by a score of 2-1. They lost to Midwestern and Quincy by a score of 2-1. So they have only scored 1 goal or less in 4 soccer games, because they also tied Georgia State 0-0. So the Huskies are playing this team tough, but then you got to remember that they played Vermont yesterday, so this overtime may be extra strenuous on this Alabama A&M team playing Vermont yesterday, coming down here, and the cold weather may be a factor also, because down in Alabama, you're not exactly attuned to having 40-degree temperatures frequently.
In this first overtime period, the Huskies are going to have the wind at their back, so that should help them out quite a bit. It's amazing that in both halves, the goals were scored going into the wind, and you think with the wind at their back, you control the ball just a little bit better. And Huskies going from right to left as we view it, and Alabama A&M from left to right. There's been a lot of physicalness, but it's pretty much been controlled in the latter part of the second half, as there has been, I believe, 4 yellow cards issued, 3 to Alabama A&M and 1 to UConn's Jim Dorsanio.
Very good.
Thank you.
Our next broadcast after this will be Friday night, when we are down at University Park for Penn State UConn. We'll tell you about that one a little later. The Huskies will take the opening kickoff. They're going from right to left on your radio down. They're still in the white with the blue trim. Carlos sends a pass up for Cornolo, but it goes a bit too far, and it'll go back to goalie Kevin Hunt, where Hunt will control it. Hunt rolls it out. Now he's marked by Graciano Cornolo, so he decides he'll kick it, and he kicks a good one. And it goes right out to midfield to the foot of Carlos to DeBrito. DeBrito looks around. He comes near sideline for Eric Myron. Myron has the ball bound off his foot momentarily, but he now controls it. He sends it for Comrie. Comrie a behind-the-back pass looking for Billy Maroney, but it's knocked away there. A nice play by Toriola. Toriola sends it up ahead for number 7, Edward Degby. But Jimmy Lyman going to be called for an obstruction, and Alabama A&M will have an indirect kick, and it'll be taken by Arnold Manders. just this side of the midfield area, about 45 yards out from the UConn goal. Manders looks around, takes it off his right foot, sends it up inside the area where it's headed there by Timmy Maisley. Now it's headed by Charlie McSpirit and bounds out to Graziano Cornolo. Cornolo off his thigh and off his foot over to Carlos. Carlos here on the near sideline. Carlos looks for Comrie, but Comrie can't find his footing, and it goes back to Carlos. Carlos sends it to Cornolo in the midfield area where it goes to Billy Maroney right in the circle. Maroney sends it up far sideline where he has Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito looks around, takes his time, and now he sends it way up ahead for Carlos. Carlos about 20 yards out from the goal, looks around, takes it left, and he goes into the corner. Centering pass in front, it bounces around and knocked away by the defense. A nice play by Alabama A&M, and it bounds out to midfield. Kept in there by Charlie McSpirit. We have 8:26 left on the clock in this overtime. Comes down to the foot of Elvis Comrie. He had a break, but he's knocked off the play. A good defensive play. No whistler blown on that one. And I was slow getting up, but I think it was more or less an act than anything else. Ball goes out of bounds off of UConn foot. We'll have an Alabama A&M throwing on the near sideline. If you just joined us, we're in the first overtime period. Mark Boudreau along with Harold Darak, we're tied at 1. The 6,600 right now, for the most part, very quiet. But they've had at least a lot to root for in the last 45 minutes of soccer. The throw-in goes, and it goes up over midfield off the boot of an Alabama A&M player, and it goes up to Solomon Sheffield, and it goes back out of bounds off for Husky. Taking the throw-in now is Iwuluma. Iwuluma sends it up, and he looks around and has Ogedegbe. Ogedegbe run off the ball by Lyman. Lyman now loses to Ogedegbe. Break in front. Loose ball. Bounds out. But Bill Maroney knocks it out with his head to the foot of Eric Myron. Myron back to Cornolo. Now kept in, but a shot taken off the foot of Charlie McSpirit. And a blast taken by Wayne Cargill, the leading scorer of this A&M squad. Bounds off Charlie McSpirit's foot, but it's kept in by A&M. Now Bill Maroney strips his man on the ball, that being Okocha. Sends it up and tries to clear it for Graziano Cornolo. Cornolo comes away with the ball. Cornolo has a break. He has Comrie in the middle. Comrie brings it up over midfield. They'll have a 3-on-4. And Comrie slows it down now. He doesn't have the greatest footing. Tries to go between two men and has the ball stripped away. Good try by Cornolo. Good defense by A&M. Bringing the ball up for the defense of A&M is Iwuluma. And Iwuluma tries... He gets his pass to Schiffler. Schiffler in the corner now centers it in front, but it bounds off John Brubacher. Brubacher looks for Lyman, but it's kept in there by Iwuluma. Iwuluma has a real whistle caught now. A push against Alabama A&M. Now they're going to say offsides. I'm sorry. Correction on that. I correct myself. And so the Huskies will have an indirect kick. The indirect kick taken by John Brubacher. He sends it back to goalie Renahan, and Renahan throws it out on the far sideline. Timmy Maisley gets the ball and intends to pass for Billy Maroney, but it goes too far ahead, and it's controlled by Elvis Comrie up over midfield. Now it goes back for Maisley. Maisley tries to go back to Comrie, but now controlled by A&M. Controlling for A&M is Iwuluma. Iwuluma sends a pass up ahead and has number 7, Ogedegbe. Ogedegbe leaves it there for Cargill. Cargill didn't want to take the shot, and he waited too long, and it's cleared there by Timmy Maisley. And Maisley and the UConn defense looks a little disgusted as they let that go on for a little bit. Huskies are getting lax. They're letting that ball, so they're right open in front of the Husky goal. They're going to have some problems. DeVito takes a nice header and heads it to himself 10 yards further upfield. He controls it on the near sideline. Now he brings it in. Shot on goal, and it bounds into Kevin Hunt. As he was outside the penalty area, about 20 yards out from the goal, he booms it right on Kevin Hunt, but Hunt there to take it on one bounce. 5:37 left here in the first overtime period. Mark Boudreau along with Harold Darak controlling for A&M midfield area is Ogedegbe. Ogedegbe slides it up ahead, but it goes to John Brubacher. Brubacher upends his man, but it was a sliding tackle, and I don't believe they're going to call a push against the Huskies. And now
A&M throw-in.
Now they're going to say it went out of bounds off Brubacher. I think that's the correct call. A&M will have a throw-in. Clock running down, 5:10 to go in the first overtime period. 1-1, Alabama A&M versus University of Connecticut Huskies. We are tied here at Gardner Dow Field. Gold blonde Iwuluma will take the throw-in on the far sideline.
5 minutes.
He calls out to his man, and that being G.W. Emanuel. Emanuel comes up to take it, and he does. Emmanuel to Okocha. Now it goes back for number 6, Douglas Bell. Bell centers it at the midfield area for number 16, Toriola. Toriola over to Manders, and Manders tries to chip it up ahead for his teammate, James Sinclair. It goes too far to the right, out of bounds. Now they're going to set up Eric Myron. And Alabama A&M will have a throw, and James Sinclair takes it. Sinclair tries to get it to Iwuluma, but Eric Myron steps in and takes it over, but he sends it right back to Manders. Manders sends it for Timmy Maisley He doesn't send it for Timmy Mosley. He sends it for Cargill. And Mosley was right there, but they're going to call Mosley for a push. Alabama A&M will have a direct kick right outside the goal area.
This is very dangerous, Mark. It's only about 5 yards outside the penalty area. There's going to be a 5-man Connecticut wall, and the clock is moving, I believe. 4:02 to go here in the regulation.
And the ball bounces off the foot of Iwaluma, and John Brubacher comes up to take it. Now the Huskies are arguing that it touched an A&M player, and so therefore the ball was in play. And now the A&M team, they're arguing that it wasn't a set-up play and that the Huskies can't do that. I believe they're going to do the play over, but technically, it did touch an A&M player, so therefore the ball was in play.
And Tim Hankinson, the coach of Alabama A&M, is arguing very much for it, and I believe they're going to have a drop ball. We'll see what they're going to do.
I believe they are, and Carlos is going to take it there, and Carlos wins it. But he sends it right to the foot of Sinclair. Sinclair tries to boot it in, but it goes to Mosley to Myron, and the Huskies get the best of that one. Lucky break for the Huskies.
Smart play by John Brubacher. When he saw that ball being touched, he just ran up and got that ball back for Connecticut. Drop ball, Connecticut play.
Here comes Bill Maroney on the break. He sends it up for Elvis Camry. Camry in the far corner, looks around, he has centering pass to Cornell, but it's bound away and knocked away nicely by Okocha on the defense, and Okocha starts it up now for Iwaluma on the A&M turn. He had Cornell centered in front, but he couldn't get it there. Here comes Iwaluma. He brings the 4-on-4 break. He sends up a pass looking for Schiffer. Schiffer shot on net, and it goes wide, just wide, and Jimmy Renahan, oh, so lucky.
And it's that transition. The Huskies almost blew it. He was coming down with Schiffer, and he took a shot. Renahan dove for it, but he was total out of that play, and it went just wide to right, and if it hit that inner post, boy, this game would have been 2-1 Alabama A&M. 2.5 minutes to go here in the first overtime. Harold along with Mark Boudreau. It's 1-1 Connecticut versus Alabama A&M.
I wouldn't recommend this game if you have a heart condition, because boy, oh boy, that one really stayed some emotions in me. Carlos with a throw in on the near sideline right around the midfield stripe. He sends it there for Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito fights for Manders with the ball, and DeBrito now laughs about it. He says, come on, ref, as the ref says it goes off Pedro DeBrito, so Manders will have a throw-in. Manders sends it back to the midfield area, but he sends it to two Huskies, one of them being Carlos. Carlos chips it up ahead for Graziano Cornolo, but Cornolo is headed off the play by Toriola. Toriola sends it upfield, but up over midfield from Experience, and now we're going to have a holding call against the Alabama A&M Bulldogs with 1 minute 49 left here in the first overtime. Mark Boudreau along with Harold Darak, the score knotted at 1. Direct kick taken in the midfield circle, this side of it, the defensive zone, taken by McSpirit. McSpirit sends it up to Cornolo, off Cornolo's head. And now they're going to say off an A&M head. Pedro DeVito will have a throw on the near sideline. He throws it in for Elvis Comrie. Comrie in the corner, guarded there by Manders. Tries to beat his man, does a turnaround, sends it in the area, but it's knocked away by Douglas Bell. Bell has the ball bound out of bounds. DeVito with another throw in. 1:20 left on the clock. Carlos tries to bring it in the area. Now the ref is going to call Carlos for a handball. And Alabama A&M will have a direct kick.
This first overtime period is being is really well controlled by Alabama A&M, as they're keeping the ball deep in the Connecticut zone. Most of the time, the Huskies haven't done much on the offense. And if this keeps up in the second half, it's only a matter of time for Alabama to just get that lucky break.
Right now on the break, it's Douglas Bell. Bell sends a centering pass, and he has James Sinclair. Sinclair rolls it in on goal, but it's taken right there by Kevin Hunt. Hunt takes it in, and he'll start it up on the offense. Jimmy Renahan, I should say. Renahan sends it up for Carlos. I got our goalies mixed up. Carlos sends it up over midfield for Comrie. Comrie back to Carlos. Carlos about 40 yards out, leaves it for Myron. Now we have a whistle blown, and we're going to have a holding call going against Alabama A&M. And for a second there, Carlos thought it was a knee. 27 seconds left in this first overtime, and Pedro is going to take it. Now he says, no, Jimmy Lyman. Well, Lyman taking his time, 20-19, as the clock ticks onward, and they're waiting to get their players pulled up. He's 35 yards out. Lyman sends it in the air. Good shot for the Huskies. Headed away. Comes down to the foot of Myron. Myron tries to keep it in. Now McSpirit finds it in, but we have a bounding off the hand, I believe, an A&M player. It's 4-3-2, kicks down. That'll do it for the first overtime. So after one overtime and 90 minutes of regulation, the score here at Gardner Dow Field is UConn 1, Alabama A&M 1. We'll be back with the second overtime right after this.
Alabama A&M had 2 shots on goal in that overtime period. Huskies had 0, so it's now 13-11. Corner kick still 4-4. Goalie saves for Jimmy Renahan is he has 5, and there's 8 for the goalie Ken Hunt, and fouls 17 for the Huskies and 29 for Alabama A&M. And here to bring you the action of that second overtime, my broadcast partner, Harold. Okay, thank you very much. A little bit cold from the first half, but Alabama A&M controls the ball. They're going from right to left, and controlling it is Emmanuel. Emmanuel is sending the ball downfield for Ogedegbe, but Husky coming up and trying to get ahead on Tim Maisley, but he did so, and he knocked it out of bounds. So they throw for Alabama A&M on the near sideline, right next to the Husky bench. Taking it will be Iwarumo. Iwarumo brings it down to the foot of Okocha. Okocha dribbling the ball around, sending it towards the middle, trying to center for Schifra. Schifra passing the left side to Ogedegbe. Ogedegbe trying to get around Maisley. Does so. Pass to Iwarumo. Iwarumo in the penalty area. Centers the pass in front. Cleared away nicely by number 3, Jimmy Lyman. Lyman out to midfield for Billy Maloney. And Maloney takes control of the ball. Maloney around the mid-circle area. Sending a pass to the left side for streaky Elvis Comrie. Comrie nowhere near the play. And Torriello comes up with the ball, sends it back to the goalkeeper, Kevin Hunt. And Hunt will start things up for the offense. 9 minutes and 7 seconds to go. Alabama A&M 1, Connecticut 1. The Huskies with a record of 15-2, ranked third in the nation, versus Alabama A&M with a 13-3-1 record. Jim Lyman gets a header on the ball. Now headed up by Iwarumo. Ball bouncing around loosely. Carlos comes up and makes the play. And Carlos passes the ball over to Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito fighting with the ball with Okocha. Gets around Okocha. Sends a pass over to Carlos. The Huskies trying to get something going on the offense. Carlos to the right sideline. Headed away by Douglas Bell. Controlled by the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. And it's Iwarumo coming down with the ball for the Bulldogs. Ball on the right side. Eric Myron steps in to intercept the play. And Myron sends it all the way back to Jimmy Linehan, the goalkeeper. And the Huskies will start up their offense all the way back from 120 yards out. 8:27 to go here in the second overtime period. The crowd is going to have to start warming up, having to start to get the Huskies going, because right now nothing is going on for the Husky offense. Ball bouncing around loosely. Bill Maloney going with it for it. So is Emmanuel, and coming up with it is Douglas Bell. Bell sending it downfield. Carlos gets in. Carlos slides it back for Timmy Maisley. And Maisley, who is in his own zone, trying to get around Ogedegbe, and he finally does so. Pass going up for number 6, Carlos. He tries to save him before it goes out of bounds. It'll be a throw for Alabama A&M. Iwarumo sends the ball on the play. Carlos kicks the ball high in the air. Now headed down by Ogedegbe, and right to the foot of Iwarumo. Iwarumo trying to send a pass in front. Does so. It's Lucy front. Linehan comes out to make the save. Almost headed in by Schifra, and the Huskies almost had a little bit of a problem. 7:39 to go. Connecticut controlling the ball. This is Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito sending a centering pass to Connecticut zone for Eddie Lynch. Lynch sliding the ball down for Eric Myron, and Myron's going to take the ball across midfield. Myron in the foot race with number 16, Torriello. Sends the ball down to number 11, Comrie. Comrie on the left side of Mooney with a break and goal shot to the fly to the left. And a beautiful play by Mooney, but it just went wide. And it will be a corner kick. As they say it was last touched by Kevin Hunt, and the Huskies from the far sideline. And a nice play by Kevin Hunt as he wasted no time to come out on Billy Maloney. And he knocked the ball off his hands, so the Huskies with a lucky break, and now the corner far. 7 minutes and 2 seconds to go. Corner kick will be taken by DeBrito. DeBrito trying to set things up. Huskies entering around the goal mouth area. It's Carlos up high with Jimmy Lyman. Everyone else around the middle area. Here's the kick. It's lobbed in front. Headed up by Lynch. It goes through the goal. A save by Hunt as Lynch hit a weak header right to Hunt, and Hunt was there to make the save. But the Huskies finally getting some shots on goal here in the second overtime period. We're still tied at 1. Hunt booms the ball out towards the middle of the field. Settled down by Schifra. Schifra trying to get around a few Huskies. Passes on the right sideline to a teammate. I believe that's Wayne Cargill. Cargill downfield for Schifra again. The ball bouncing around loosely. No red shirt available. And the Husky Eddie Lynch comes up and makes the play, and he's going to bring it back the other way. 6:22 to go. Eddie Lynch slides the ball up, almost intercepted by Emmanuel. Lynch regains possession of the ball, and Lynch brings it into the Bulldog zone. Touched by Maloney. Touched by Comrie. Ball bouncing around loosely. Coming up with it is number 2, Ben Okocha. Okocha dribbling the ball around, sending it downfield for teammate Ogedegbe. Ogedegbe loses the ball momentarily. 2 players collide. It's Comrie and Ogedegbe. But coming up with it is Tim Maisley, and Maisley controlling the ball for the Connecticut team. Maisley trying to send the ball down the field. He's pushed from behind. No call. And Alabama A&M team will have a throw-in as the ball went over the sideline. And again it goes over the sideline. This time Connecticut will be throwing. Getting set to check in for that Alabama A&M lineup. Tyson Bondera, number 14, the junior out of Yellow Springs, Ohio. Huskies control the throw, and Eric Myron downfield for Elvis Comrie. Conley back to Carlos. 5:35 to go in overtime period number 2. Carlos down to Elvis Conley. Give and go back to Carlos. Carlos trying to get around one player. Loses the possession of the ball. Emmanuel comes up and strips it from him. Sends it back to Wayne Cargill, the leading scorer. And Cargill leading the charge down for the Bulldogs. Cargill entering the Husky territory. Racing 1-on-1 with Jimmy Lyman on the right sideline. Slips. Almost loses possession. Regains possession. Ball bounces around loosely. Goes out of bounds. Now they're going to call a foul on Lyman. It's going to be a direct kick on the right sideline for Alabama A&M. That's the far sideline. Clock running down 5:04. This would be a shame if it ended up in a tie. Both teams playing so well. It's number 18, Wayne Cargill, taking the throw from the far sideline. Make that the direct kick from the sideline. Cargill taking a lob in front, looking for number 9, Schiffer. It goes up front, and he goes over the goal. Schiffer had a nice shot on the goal, but it just went a little bit high. And Jimmy Lyman was there to cut off the angle. 4:43 to go. We're going to have a substitution at Tyson Bondurant. And Tyson Bondurant will be coming in and taking out of the lineup with number 7, Nathaniel Odedegbu. He'll take a pass. And this is the end of the season, regular season for Alabama A&M. We failed to mention that. This is their last game on the road as well as on their schedule until the tournament. Billy Maroney with a break. He's into Alabama zone. Billy Maroney coming down the middle of the field, sending a pass to the right sideline for Elvis Conley, but he's called for offside. It's Beto Coach that came up for the offside trap. A nice play by him. You beat me to it. I beat you to it. Unfortunately, the Huskies could not connect on that pass. It would have been pretty. It would have been a 1-on-1, Conley versus Hunt, and we'd like to see what would happen a second time. Hunt now taking a blast, sends it right up towards the middle of the field. It's going to be off the chest of Eric Myron. Myron gets around 2 Alabama A&M players, still controlling the ball, trying to chip it down from Maroney, but Maroney is nowhere near it. And coming up with it is Toriolo. And Toriolo controlling for the Bulldogs. 3:45 to go into second overtime. Toriolo downfield for teammate Cargill. Cargill can't control the ball. The ball goes over the right side. Huskies with the throw-in. Carlos over the page with the reader. Ball bouncing around loosely. Coming up with it is Iwarumo. Iwarumo loses it to Carlos. Carlos whistling up push on the Huskies. And we have a direct kick for the Alabama A&M team. 3:26 to go in overtime number 2. A very exciting game so far. The scoring goes as follows. In the first half, it was Sinclair at the 37-38 mark from Cargill, and then Elvis Conley tied it up in the second period at the 29-19 mark. A header on a pass from Jimmy Lyman. That's where we stand 1-1. We're in the second overtime period. Eddie Lynch controlling the ball on the far sideline. He's tangling with James Sinclair. He comes away with the ball, sending it down to Maroney. Now Maroney's tangling with an Alabama player. Ball goes down loose over the sideline, throwing for the Huskies on the far sideline. Less than 3 minutes to go. This is Carlos. Carlos controlling the ball, trying to get around a couple of Alabama A&M players. Pass in the middle is Charlie McSmear. McSmear right around midfield. Left side to Carlos. Carlos trying to get around Sinclair. Somebody blocked the Conley. Conley grabs a shot and wide to the left. A big save by Hunt, but he goes out of bounds. And it will be a corner kick for the Huskies on the far sideline. And Conley almost won this game for Connecticut. A beautiful play by Elvis Conley. Kevin Hunt takes that save, but he went over the end touchline. The Huskies are very lucky with that one. Pedro DeVito far corner. Here's the corner kick. Less than 2.5 minutes. Robs in front. And he's punched out by Hunt off the chest of Myron. Shot. And it's high. It's still bouncing on loosely. Keeping it in the area is Lyman, but Lyman kicks it over to goal. And over the goal. Kick for Alabama A&M. 2:13 to go here in the second overtime. Kevin Hunt looking very impressive in that net as he came out to punch that one away. The Huskies couldn't really get anything good on that drive. I should take it off. I had to take a breath there. Sinclair controlling the ball, bouncing around loosely now, looking for it is Iwarumo, and Sinclair comes up and gets it. Less than 2 minutes to go. Iwarumo, left side, over to number 5, Emmanuel. Emmanuel gets it by Eddie Lynch, slides in the deep corner for Wayne Cargill, the leading scorer for the Bulldogs. Cargill right around baseline, sending a chipper in front, heading up in the area, it's still loose in front. Coming around it is a UConn Husky, Eric Myron, and Myron takes the ball and takes it out of the area, and the Huskies have another break. A minute and a half to go. Pedro DeVito leading the break, crosses the midfield line, kicks off the back of the foot of Emmanuel. It's controlled by Eddie Lynch. Lynch tries to pass the left side to Billy Maroney. Maroney over to number 5, Charlie McSmear. McSmear looking to set it up. Passes on the right side to Eric Myron. Myron now looking to see what he can do with the ball. 6-1 in front, looking for Maroney. Heading up in the air, loose in front. It's Eddie Lynch. Lynch on the far sideline, tangling with it with Manders. Gets the ball, Manders in front, kicked away by number 18, Cargill. And Cargill sends it downfield where Carlos races it in front, goes over the sideline. And it's going to whistle now. What did you think? Eddie Lynch and Joe Burwell, the Emmanuel are going out of this. Eddie Lynch was taken out of the play. Stop the clock! Emmanuel went out of his way. Emmanuel went out of his way to hold Eddie Lynch down. Eddie Lynch didn't like that one bit, so he got up and pushed him. And when Eddie Lynch pushed him, Emmanuel went to push Eddie Lynch, punch Eddie Lynch. I shouldn't say
push. It was more or less a punch, and it was getting where I thought we were going to have a 15-round title bout over there. Finally, the referee stops the action, and the clock is stopped with 54 seconds. And the Herald, I believe, we have a yellow card. Yellow card issued, exactly what people like to do. And now I believe they're going it over. They're going to give the Huskies a direct kick on the far side of the field, about 35 yards out. And the Huskies are going to have to take advantage. The clock should have been stopped with about a minute left, but they let it run for 6 seconds too much. 54 seconds to go in this second overtime period. Tied at 1 and getting ready to take the direct kick about 10 yards outside the penalty area is number 3, Jimmy Lyman. Huskies lining up around the goal box. This is very exciting. Let's see what's going to happen. Lyman lines it up, kicks it in front, looking for the header. Plays comedy shot. Whoa, it's saved. It's loose in front. It's going to come out to Carlos. Carlos keeps it up for one more time for Martin. And it's an offside violation. But it wasn't saved by Hunter. It was saved by the defense. Or the Huskies will come up with the win. Number 15, James Sinclair, coming up with a big defensive header. And I tell you, if it wasn't for Mr. Sinclair standing in that spot, the Huskies would be up 1. 30 seconds. Cargill coming with the ball. Almost stolen by the Huskies. Now stolen by Eric Meyer. But Meyer now tangling away Cargill one more time. The ball is with 23 seconds to go. Carlos kicks the ball out of bounds. It's going to be Alabama A&M throwing. 18 seconds. This game is going to only end up in a tie. That's the best the Huskies can do. This is number 2, Timmy Mason stealing the ball, but he's deep in his own zone. Sends it back to Renahan, and you can hear the countdown in the background. The Huskies 7-game winning streak goes by the books. Renahan tries to get in the play, but that's the way it's going to end. It's a tie ball game, and it's the final score here at Gardner Dow Field. 6,600 fans win the battle. The final score, the Alabama A&M Bulldogs won. The Connecticut Huskies won. We'll be back to wrap up this game right after these words.